It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
2 shows in a row.
I know. What's going on? I'm in town.
Well,
Thanks for having me back, by the way.
Yeah. I hope you figured out from listening to the episodes while you were gone how genuinely happy I am and proud I am of you.
Oh,
about talking about your accomplishments in opera, talking about the fact that you run our website, the fact that you have deigned your regal presence upon us.
Stop.
It is the Frank and Friends show, and we've got merchandise. We hope you'll support us. One easy way to support us is by buying the stuff.
At frankandfriendshow.com/store.
Highly recommend the beach towel because...
summer is here.
Yeah, I'll be using that poolside. Probably, I think I'm at the point now where the water is warm enough. What is today? May the 10th be with you. That I'll be in the water. I make a point of going in every day during pool season.
Nice.
Because I want to get my money's worth. I mean,
totally.
The pools are a money pit, so you can help support my pool
by buying some merchandise.
By buying a beach towel at frankandfriendshow.com/store. You can also help support the Frank and Friends show like Kathryn's family does
by subscribing on YouTube, and make sure you smash that button to get notifications.
And to Kathryn's family, here's a side note just to you. You can leave the episode on in the background.
You don't have to pay attention.
It's just, but by watching it and having it play, that actually helps us.
You can even have it on mute.
Statistics. Yeah. And then when you ask Kathryn, what did you and Frank talk about?
Maybe you'll know.
Chances are you might have heard some of it. But I missed you for a whole month. I think I added it up. I think I did 8 episodes without you.
It was amazing. I actually binged listening to them as I drove back. But you know what? I really wanted to ask you about your friends.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends apparently.
Apparently you do have a lot of friends, but they all have one thing very much in common.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful young women. I was like, do you not have any male friends, Frank?
So I went to, I told you the other day that we went to see The Music Man at Catholic High School.
Where you mentioned another beautiful woman that you were friends with.
Yes. And in the audience, I recognized some friends from Sweet Fanny Adams Theater.
Okay.
So Cara von Vagel.
Another beautiful woman.
I said to her, hey, Cara, apparently the game is that you just contact me and volunteer to be, guess what Sarah Roberto did let me take you through
Apparently that's what I did.
I'll tell you, it is what you did. So it worked for Kathryn, it worked for Sarah. So I was joking that Cara von Vagel could volunteer herself as a co-host. And then Tim Coleman. Now, you know Tim Coleman.
I do know Tim.
Because we did a nice, lovely visit with him, a very funny visit with him when we were at Ober-Gatlinburg.
Yep.
Did we cross paths with him again since then?
I think we might have. I also think he's going to write us a jingle one of these days.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Well, he said, "How come he said, why can't I be on the show? Would he only take what's with all the women?"
Right.
And I said,
it's a question.
Actually, I said, of course, he would be great.
He would be fantastic.
He's very funny.
Yeah.
Very
Men
pleasant.
can be funny too. I know that you think that only women are funny, which is mostly true. But
I know I've gone into the age-old stereotype that I only like working with women because they're funny. But you're right, Kathryn. You called me out on that.
I know.
So Tim said he still has his Mrs. Sphincter costume from...
Fantastic.
And I said, Tim, you don't even have to. You can come. I would love to have you as you. Because I've known him for a long time and he can do it all, So yes, so Tim Coleman, I would like to get him on when next time you disappear.
Good.
In
July.
As a male. Yeah. Now also, I got messages on Instagram and Facebook and somewhere else from other people who saw Sarah Roberto, who pointed out how she really just called up and asked if she could be on the show.
Right.
Or she made it. It was on Instagram.
Instagram, yeah. I think I saw the message.
Yeah, because you've got rights to the account, so you see that we're getting this question, and I'm like, let me text me.
Don't let Frady see this message.
Well, I wanted to get her down to a date and time and book her right away, which of course did work out. But then that episode runs, and the weird thing is, we do well with photographers, apparently, which is considering how I struggle to get the camera lined up every episode. I'm now really, really self-conscious that, Kira is a photographer and a videographer.
Right.
One of our most absolute loyal viewers is Tanya Cinnamon.
Which is great.
And she buys the merch, and she's very supportive, and she runs Cinnamon photography, and I've told her that one of these, I'd like her to do headshots of us.
That'd be awesome.
I would hire her to do that. So, because she's been with us from day one, even on the old podcast, she was our most loyal commenter, viewer.
amazing.
I love Tanya. Well, anyway, so then Roberto posts this, and I hear from 2 more people who were also both professional photographers. And I'm thinking, this is just weird. It's bizarro world. Like, getting comments from people like, oh, so I could just put myself as a guest on your show?
I mean, you gotta be careful what you
guess.
let, being vocalized here on the show. There are other requirements. You have to be a young, beautiful female.
Or Tim Coleman.
Yeah, I was just like, I was listening and I was watching and I was like, Frank, you have a lot of female friends that are very young and very attractive.
Well, if we want to get...
I enjoyed the fact that Kira said that her parents do feel comfortable with her being here, though that was good. I'm like, well, that's nice.
Well, one time, Kira and I, we worked together in Pigeon Forge, and we would get in the car and we would drive. You know that. You've been that person where we would drive into Gatlinburg to go do a shoot or go somewhere.
Yeah.
And we would end up having these kind of deeper philosophical discussions about being a young woman in today's world, and is it safe for her, to be in a car with a man, meaning me. And I said, well, honestly, let's hope that there's never a news story that says, young girl drives from Gatlinburg to Pigeon Forge with older man and nothing happens.
Right.
That shouldn't be news. That should be normal.
Right.
And when we do hear about the bad things, those should be rare and exceptions. Now, our perspective gets blown out because...
we hear them more often.
Yeah, when some poor woman gets murdered in Florida or wherever that was, Utah, pick one. There's so many, unfortunately, that we hear about. But there's if that happens 100 times, there's 100 million that don't go bad. Right. So we don't think about the 100 million that are fine. We think about the 100 that are dead or injured, So I said to Kira, I would hope that, we're coworkers, we have a professional relationship, we're going to literally do a show together, and I'm supposed to see you again tomorrow to do another show. It would be not really be in my best interest
to do something wrong. Yeah.
You know that. Of
course, yeah.
Why would I ruin a good thing?
Of course.
By being one of those creepos that you read about on the news. Yeah. So yes, so that's Kira's parents would feel comfortable here. I'm not going to out anybody in particular, but one of the co-hosts is actually older than you.
You wouldn't notice.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I didn't think anyone looked older than me.
Well, only because she said on the show how old she was, and I caught it like, oh.
Yeah. I think I know, but because I think I might have heard it also, but yeah.
Well, she also sent cookies.
What?
I know. All right. I may as well tell you, Sarah. Sarah is close to your age.
Yes.
She might be a year or two older than you.
I really related to Sarah, and I guess I sensed that we were in the same age range.
Yeah. You're in this. So Sarah does the show, and then we get this package delivered on the front porch, and I told Jere there's something on the front porch. She said, well, I shouldn't get anything more. She'd just gotten a delivery of clothes from Amazon she bought with all her birthday gift cards.
Nice.
She'd saved them up, and now she's been wearing every day this week. It's been a new...
Something new? Oh, that's fabulous.
I'm supposed to notice.
You should notice.
But sometimes I don't.
Just remember every day to tell Jere that she looks beautiful, and then you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, she called me. She called yesterday and says, I need a favor. I'm like, what? She says, I got to go to the chiropractor today. I'm like, well, I can't help you with that. She says, yeah, but I wore one of my new dresses. I'm like, okay. She says, I can't go to the chiropractor in a dress. I'm like, why can't you? They have like gym shorts you can borrow and, the stuff.
Sure.
She's like, so no. I had to go find one of these new outfits and drive it over to her work so she could change into pants.
Yeah.
And a top. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Sarah was here.
That's what husbands are for.
I guess so. Well, I felt so stupid, but then when I realized that I used to do the same thing. She used to come to the radio station with stuff that I'd forgotten all the time.
Yeah, James does that for me all the time. I mean, it's basically we have to take 2 separate cars anywhere we go, so that when I'm on the road 15 minutes into it, I can call and be like, hey, I forgot X, Y, and Z, and he can bring it to me.
He's your backup plan.
Yeah. Well, we live so far away from downtown.
Yeah, and the shows are downtown.
Yeah.
So there's a package on the front step, and Jerry's like, I didn't order anything else, I swear. And she looks at it, and it says Crumbl Cookie on it. Now, my niece, Allie, the one, I don't know if I ever told the story of how she survived the near-death experience in a horrible car wreck.
No.
And she's a miracle worky. Anyway, a miracle happened, and she's alive. So she works now at the Crumbl Cookie near their house up in Northern Virginia.
Nice.
And so I've heard of this. So I'm wondering, maybe, but no, we open up the box, and it says, thank you for having me on the Frank and Friends show, Sarah Roberto.
Nice.
And look at these Crumbl Cookies.
Oh my gosh, they look amazing.
They're not all here, obviously, because Jere and I have eaten some of them already, but these are the ones that we still have.
Is this an oatmeal raisin?
I think that one is blueberry muffin.
Is that one peanut butter?
Yeah, do you like peanut butter?
I do.
All right.
Thank you, Sarah.
This one, I believe, is cookies and cream.
Nice.
And this one's blueberry muffin.
I just stole a cookie for myself.
Well, or from Jere, it doesn't really matter. But what we did is, it says in the box, you should heat them up, right?
Oh.
To 350. That's too hot. We burned the bottom of the double brownie.
Okay.
We still ate it.
Yeah.
But or what you could do is if you put it in the oven and once it preheats to 350, that's enough.
Okay.
Just turn it off. Or just eat it at room temperature. You're perfectly fine to eat it at room temperature. But I'm glad that you got to partake in the thank you biscuit.
The thank you cookies.
Basket. A biscuit, a basket from Sarah. But yes, all right. I will.
Speaking of burning
up.
Things, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to own up to
having
a lot of female friends.
I am more comfortable. It's like an old radio thing, and just remember, I'm trying to model a show after Regis and Kathy Lee, Regis and Kelly.
Right.
So I'm more comfortable doing a show with a woman than I am necessarily with another dude. I don't know. I mean, I had Bean on as a guest host, and we're old buddies. So we're just but with guys, you just razz each other the whole time. That's the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's fun too, though.
Okay.
But I mean, I have two brothers, so I feel very comfortable.
And I have two sisters.
Yeah. See?
So I grew up around sisters, and I didn't have any brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes a difference.
So speaking of burning things.
I know. I want to know about this post that you shared with me.
We're on, remember Shiv Patel from Buzzbull Creamery?
I do.
When we were visiting with him, I've gone back, you've gone back, and I've gone back. We both go back, we did a video there last summer. And every time we're at Fish Porch, we're like, oh, I really would like some dessert.
That just happened to be right here next to Buzzbull Creamery.
A milkshake with liquor in it sure sounds good.
It's so hot today.
Yeah. So one of these visits, Shiv says to me, are you in any of the Facebook groups for the Smoky Mountains? Fun things to do in Gatlinburg, or this, that thing, and the other thing in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, or whatever. There's different Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So he got on his phone and added me to all these different groups.
Nice.
And now I'm deluged with these posts from people from all over the country.
That's great.
Wondering what to do in the Smoky Mountains. And it's funny thing is every time I've tried to post one of our videos, I think it's gotten taken down. I don't know that.
That's weird.
Maybe I'm not doing it right, but I'll try again with some of our fun videos.
Maybe they have some rules about.
Probably, but I see other people posting their vlogs. I don't know. I just have to figure out. Maybe it's.
Maybe I should post it.
Yes. You know why?
Because
you're an attractive woman.
One of your female friends.
And I'm not. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I get it. I understand how the system works.
Well,
I don't mind taking advantage of you if in that regard.
Work in the system.
Yeah, I mean, you notice how when you've seen it when we're out filming places, people are like, "Oh, hello."
Well, and then if I need my words to actually be heard, I can just have you repeat it. So it's a good teamwork.
So Shiv adds me to all these Facebook groups. One of them I saw recently was from Ohio, and it was, how are liquor prices down there? Should I bring my own favorites from home, or can we buy them locally? And I was tempted, except that I don't need to get involved in this. I don't have time for this. I was tempted to write back, actually, there's no liquor stores in Sevier County.
Right.
Which we learned one of our tours.
Yeah.
That you're allowed to have a distillery in Sevier County, and you're allowed to sell the product that you make in Sevier County, which is why one of the places, I don't think it might have been, I'm trying to remember if it was Tennessee Shine Company or Tennessee Legend Distillery told us this.
I think it was the Tennessee Shine Company.
Where they make Well, they both do this. They make rums and vodkas and other types of whiskey so that the people from other states can purchase something similar to what they would drink at home.
Right.
But you're getting it, Sevier County made. So I was tempted to get into this whole discussion of there's so much liquor available for sale in Sevier County, but it's all made locally, so it's not going to be your Canadian Club.
Right.
Or your Dewar's Scotch or whatever it is
You're
you
not allowed
think
to have a liquor store.
you'd like. Yeah. A package store. Well, the post that cracked me up is somebody, I guess, is coming back for their wedding, or they're planning to have a wedding in the fall. And it says on the post, and I'll put this on the screen so everybody can enjoy the humor, but I guess it's one of these things where this must mean she's trying to think, right? Because there's all these equations on the board.
Right.
And she's got the emoji, or what do you call that?
Yeah, her meme.
Her Bitmoji or meme, something with the one eyebrow up and the chalk. And it says, go ahead, reread it.
Does anyone know where you can have a wedding reception that has a bonfire around fall time?
Now, I'm so tempted to comment on this and give her the name of my friend Helen at the crematory.
Oh, bonfire?
Yeah, because that's what they do at the crematory.
Well, yeah.
They burn you and reduce you to bones, right?
Yeah. But I don't even, what kind of bones are they putting on a fire?
Well, it's bonfire. You see,
oh, okay.
That's some typo.
You think so? I don't know. I'm concerned.
Well, maybe where's that place we went to with the Halloween decorations? You could probably have some kind of bone fire there.
That's true. Yeah.
But bones aren't going to burn. Bones are going to be what's left after the fire.
Right.
And if you're cooking ribs and you were to burn them to the point where the meat is burned away, you'd still have the
bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I laugh. I mean, there was another one I have to find. I don't know if I still have it, but it was another one where when they misspell words like Smoky Mountains.
Right.
It just gets me. Gets my goat for some reason. It's typograph. They can't help it.
Smoky Mountain is challenging.
Well, there's no E in Smoky.
Right.
It's SMOKY. But this
but
one
if you
person
do Smokies, then you have the IES.
Yes. So hence the confusion.
Yeah.
And the mascot for the University of Tennessee is Smokey with an EY.
Right.
And Smokey Bear, I think, is also with an EY. That's the name Smokey is EY. The adjective describing smokish is no E. Anyway, so this one was, same Facebook group. Is there any hunting allowed in the Great Smoky Mountains? Should I wear orange when hiking?
Oh, wow.
And you want to write back. And these are people from other parts of the country who have no idea. But
is that a joke, though? Because they asked if they should wear orange.
And it's funny on so many levels. Yes, you should wear orange so that you blend in. And when you wear orange in East Tennessee, that's camouflage. Nobody notices you because everyone wears orange when the Vols are playing. And now it used to be just in the fall, but now the basketball Vols and the baseball Vols have gotten so good that you see people wearing orange year round.
Yeah, that's great.
So then the whole idea, of course, you want to write to them and say, no, you idiot, the Great Smoky Mountains is a national park. You don't go hunting in a national park. And then the other one was, anyone know where axe throwing venues are and places to buy throwing axes?
I mean, yes.
And I want to say, you don't need to buy a throwing axe.
You don't need to. You can buy any axe and throw it.
Yeah. I thought of you when I was out doing the gardening and I was digging around looking for some clippers.
Yeah.
Apparently I have a throwing axe.
Do you really?
I have a hatchet and I was throwing it at one of the stumps.
Oh, we could take those cookies.
Yeah.
From Steve's Tree Service.
Are slices of a tree.
And we could turn them into targets and we could practice our axe throwing. This is a great idea.
In the backyard. Well, the thing that got started on this is the person asking about bone fires, which is kind of funny because one of our sponsors is
Bone Zones. Don't forget the S.
Yep, that's absolutely right, where you can get all sorts of great merchandise from the legendary Dr. Bill Bass. He'll sign it for you. And we had a great event while you were out of town on April 23rd, I think, where just so many people lined up to meet Dr. Bass, and we all got our pictures made.
That's great.
And then he gave this presentation. So that's the kind of thing that you can find at bonezones.com is the schedule. Where's Dr. Bass and Frank going to be for our next event? Whether it's around Halloween time at the Cave in Cherokee Caverns, or we're going to do something for his birthday, his 94th birthday in August.
Nice.
There are a few things like that. Or pick up some of the books, and people were getting books that for the first time. They just learning about maybe the Jefferson Bass series of mysteries, or they've read the fiction mysteries, and they're asking all these great questions about, well, when Dr. Bass, not Dr. Bass, the character in the book, Dr. Brockton, does this, that, or the other thing, did that really happen to you, Dr. Bass? And he just starts laughing and shaking his head, because what they're describing happened to co-writer John Jefferson.
Oh, well.
John Jefferson went to a cockfight and chewed tobacco and vomited.
Wow.
Dr. Bass did not. But in the book, Brockton, who's a mesh of the two of them.
Right.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
So they've read the fiction and they discovered the nonfiction books about these great stories, like we talked about the fireworks explosion that happened almost 30 years ago, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and how Dr. Bass had to put the people back together again.
Yeah, with the bones that didn't burn all the way through.
Yeah, well, he's identifying every bit in pieces. He's like, well, these legs are shaved, so we'll put those in the lady pile.
Oh my goodness.
You had to ask.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I know,
bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. Get one of these great books. Learn about the forensic anthropology, or buy some of the autographed merchandise. And the way it actually works is you email your order or you call. It's easier for them to do it that way, and they'll mail it out to you.
Nice.
And you can get it personalized, a little more one-on-one service. Instead of just trying to fit it all in a form, you'll actually talk with Susan and either communicate via email back and forth or talk to her on the phone to get exactly the way you want it.
That's great.
At bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
Now, speaking of mysteries, Frank, weren't you reading a story about yourself in a mystery novel recently? A fiction book?
I know we talk a little bit while you're out of town, and obviously you're kept up on the social media, but there is a children's mystery called The Case of the Thoughtful Thief.
This looks like such a fun book.
Well, I'll let you borrow it if you want. I've only read my chapter so far, so I can probably finish it real quick and let you borrow it next week. But in chapter 8, The Case of the Thoughtful Thief, here we go. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. I read this chapter aloud at the King Family Library. And in the course of it,
there he is.
It says Frank Murphy a few times. Guess who we saw at the island, I asked him, wondering if he would guess correctly. I know who you saw, Josh told me, flashing what he called his game show host smile. I was just watching Frank Murphy on his social media page. And then Missy says, I didn't see Mr. Murphy at the island, I confessed. And she was embarrassed because someone as especially well known as Mr. Murphy, after all, he was host of Scholars Bowl. He always knew the questions. And then he's host of Up Close with Frank Murphy. And then, if you keep going, where he's also...
The Frank and Friends!
Maybe if I email Mr. Murphy on his Frank and Friends social media page. Well, the funniest part of the whole thing is after I agreed to read this at the King Family Library, Elyse Bruce, the author, went back and added another paragraph.
What was the added paragraph?
There was this one time at the King Family Library when Mr. Murphy read a chapter from a book by my favorite author, and he was the same in person as he was on television. In other words, he was smart and he was nice. I like that about him.
Aww. That's so cute.
Isn't it?
So cool. And this is, for teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, young adult.
I have this idea that maybe Missy Barrett needs to go to the opera in a future episode.
Yes.
If only I knew a world-class opera singer.
Ooh,
maybe
you know what?
runs her own company.
Missy Barrett might enjoy a ghost story opera.
Is that one? I thought it was like R-rated.
Well,
I don't know. Tell me. Because you're going to play this strumpet of a ghost.
Well, it could be fictionalized, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. They didn't. I've said a few things on this show that are a little PG for the Missy Barrett audience.
Truly.
But okay, so I did plug this while you were gone, but now you're starting rehearsals, right?
When? We start this week.
For the Copper Queen.
Yeah, Copper Queen by Clint Borzoni and Jonathan De Los Santos. And fun fact, John, who is the librettist, that means he wrote the whole script before it was put to music.
We're talking to you, Missy, so you can put this in the next book. And by that I mean Elyse.
He is actually directing the show.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Has he directed it before?
no, this is the first staged production.
Well,
of
I guess
this.
they were planning. I know they did a.
They did a filmed version,
So he didn't direct that.
but he didn't direct that one.
So the history of this is it's set in Arizona,
Bisbee, Arizona.
and they were going to do a staged version of it at this Arizona company because they were going to make a world premiere, like you made world premieres
Correct.
of
They commissioned the opera.
shows that had Knoxville connections, like the one about the artist Buford Delaney. It was a very Knoxville show. You commissioned it, blah, blah, blah. Well, they did something similar down there with this hotel, this haunted hotel with Julia Lowell, the ghost,
Yes.
who's a strumpet. I'm trying to think of a nice way to...
yeah.
Is that a nice way to say it?
She's a strumpet. Yeah, her dad, but her dad forces her into that. The owner of the hotel. So.
Ooh, that's
yeah.
human trafficking. I know some people who are against human trafficking. You could get them and you can
Get them involved. Yeah.
Why not? If that happens in the story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's very the stakes are high the entire time, which is why I personally love the opera.
Yeah.
And playing the role of Julia because it's so intense. You know.
So there's someone in the current day who goes and stays in this hotel room where 100 years previous Julia had died, and allegedly her ghost haunts the room.
Yes, and the character who comes to see her is trying to connect with Julia actually in that room. So she's
like a seance, like a Ouija board?
She's like trying to get her to come out because she has a special message to deliver to Julia.
Ooh, so can I just stand in the background and doing the noises?
Yeah, you can. You were trying to figure out actually.
Halloween spooks outside your window.
See, this is why I was going to get you up at the Rossini Festival.
Well, had you asked,
No, I know.
have I ever turned away an offer of a microphone, the stage and a mic? I'll be right there. But okay.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be June
2nd, 3rd, and 4th at Flying Anvil Theater.
Beautiful, and
You
tickets.
can get tickets at marblecityopera.com/tickets.
I'm excited for you,
No, thanks. It's going to be fun.
and that's one reason why she came back to the show.
And yeah, have to come back to star in my show. This one and that one.
I have some old business to. Is there anything else on the Marble City that we want to take care of here?
No, I think we're good.
I saw that my bio is now on the webpage for Marble City Opera.
As is the entire board. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that done. Mike Combs collected all of the board bios and he sent them to me, and an hour later they were on the website.
It was fast, yeah. Because I'm on the board. I mean, I'm not. That's how I know Kathryn. That's how we got the conversation a year ago, where Kathryn says, I think I should be on your show. And she was right. But I have some old business. I talked about this when Sarah was here last week. And I talked about how I finally went to the Rich Guy Poker Night. And I was terrified because...
I never taught you how to play poker.
You were going to Texas over here. Was going to teach me how to play Texas Hold'em, which I guess is technically the game we were playing. So I'm sitting there like an idiot with this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that shows the... I guess about 10 or 12 different hands
telling you how to actually
ranked in order.
play.
And not even that, it's just pictures of cards and they're ranked 1 through 10 or 12, this best to worst or whatever.
Right.
And I paid my $20. I got my $20 worth of chips. I lost them relatively quickly. And I was feeling every time I lost a hand, I was like, well, that's one step closer to getting out. I'm not going to buy more chips like some of these other people.
Right. You're just like, that's my 20. That's my limit.
That's my limit. I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, and so I was out, and then I went, as I mentioned the other day, I went in the kitchen and had ice cream. And
to console yourself.
Yeah. I talked to the music guy from Sacred Heart. He was there. We had a nice conversation about you, actually. And I was talking you up. And then I went home. Well, a week later, I'm at the fancy 80s themed fundraiser.
Yeah.
And some of the same people are there. And you don't necessarily recognize them because they have on these outrageous wigs and,
neon colors.
Yeah,
and you can't even see them because they're blinding you.
One guy who's bald, I didn't even know he was at the party because he had on an 80s wig the whole time.
Nice.
Well, another guy, the guy who was like a former sheriff's deputy in California, he was kind of like the head of our little poker group because he was telling everybody what to do, including me.
Okay. Was he also winning?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that seems a little bit like cheating.
So here we are at the fundraiser. I see him. I say, Jere, to my wife, this is the guy who took all my money.
Yeah.
And he laughs and then I find out, this is why I'm an idiot. This is why I'm a heel. He's like, oh, yeah, it was fun. We had a last time playing. And he says, we don't get to keep any of that money. Like, what? I mean, I saw he won the chips. I mean, I paid $20 to the host. He's like, oh, yeah, he just takes all the money and gives it to charity.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, well, now I feel like an idiot.
That's nice. Well, that's great. Well, what a fun way to play poker then.
Yeah, I mean, if I had known that going in, I wouldn't have sweated so much.
Yeah, if it's just like all going to charity and no one's actually keeping it anyway. Like,
I could have, I would have, frankly, I would have just given the donation to charity directly at the beginning.
And not played.
I mean, is
this a men's only poker charity corporation?
Once or twice. I guess maybe once or twice a year, maybe once a quarter, they get together and have a game.
Because it would be fun for me to go in and beat them all.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, this guy apparently plays elsewhere.
Okay.
I don't know where else he plays, but he plays for real somewhere else. And this was it's really more of a, like you said, it's a men's fellowship thing. Because that's happened a lot of times in church groups. The men are like, you have to organize a men's group or they won't do anything.
Right. They have to have an activity because they don't want to go sit around and talk to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Although that was my favorite part, was the sitting around and talking to each other, because every one of these guys was interesting. Like this one guy was talking about his small plane that he flies. I'm like, and I want to know all about it.
Yeah. So you do have male friends.
The guy with the plane. We get to the thing. I walk in, right, and I'm meeting a lot of these people for the first time.
Okay.
So I'm doing, and I'm making a point of memorizing their names. I mean, people like it when you know their names.
They do. Can I tell you a story about that?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you?
Of course.
So the chorus for Gulf Shore Opera, there were about 25 of them. And on the first day, in the first 5 minutes, I memorized every single one of their names.
Good.
And they weren't wearing name tags or anything, and they thought that I was so intelligent by being able to remember their names.
Yeah,
but it was so much fun because then they'll do anything for you.
Yes. Well, first of all, it's a great courtesy.
Yes.
To learn someone's name.
Yes.
And I am reformed at being a bad name person. I used to be, and it really was an arrogance on my part, where I would think, I don't need to learn any of these people's names until at least the second or third time I encounter them. This is me back in California. I was trying to cover for it.
Seems like a California way of thinking.
Well, but also I was bad at, I was making an excuse for the fact that I couldn't, when I'm in a conversation with somebody, and maybe this happens to you, and they say their name, and whatever reason, it goes in one ear and out the other, and you've just said it, and you're like,
yeah.
And you're embarrassed to ask them to repeat it. Well, once I've gotten over that, and say, oh, tell me your name again.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. How do you spell it? And then once I get that, I have to visualize it. I mean, it's like I'm pretending that I'm watching television, and I put your name across the bottom of the screen when I'm talking to you, and then I've got you, right?
Right.
So I'm going around, okay, that's Gerard, not Gerald, it's Gerard. And occasionally I'm going around the room and I'm like repeating the names to myself silently.
Right.
Well, this one guy comes in, it turns out it's the guy with the plane. And he walks up to me and says, Mr. Murphy, hello. And I'm like, hi. He says, do you know, he made some point like I wouldn't know his name. I mean, he's just walked into the party.
Right.
He says, I said, Russ, right? He says, yeah, but do you know my last name? And I said it, and he looks at me like, shocked. I said, well, you wear a name tag at church. You're involved in the ministries. You wear a Knights of Columbus name tag, and I've seen it. And of course, it's burned into my brain because I'm a visual learner.
Right.
And he was like blown away that I've read his name tag and remembered it, even though we had never really met prior to that.
Yeah, that's great.
So I went around the room and memorized everyone's names, and that's a nice thing to do, right?
It is.
It's fun.
People really like it.
It's a good party trick.
It is. Everyone was just, we came back after the break, and then I repeated everyone's names. We had added new people in the rehearsal during that time, and I knew all of their names also.
Did you make them shuffle order?
I did. They shuffled, and the next rehearsal, which was a week later, I greeted each of them by name.
What is your trick for memorizing the names?
Sort of similar, like when they tell me their name, I have to look at them and repeat it in my mind. Mm-hmm.
Do you already have a list? Have you already seen the names in writing at some point?
No.
Okay, because that would help me if I'm going to a thing and there's a cast list is a bad example, but sometimes like you'll see an email list of who's going to be at the meeting, or you go through and you look.
That's smart.
Having looked ahead, like at this poker party, I looked at click down to see the email addresses of everyone who was coming. So then
think about their names.
Well, yeah, when I hear their names again later, it kind of connects. Oh, you must be Chris. There was a C. Yeah, okay, yeah, that must be, okay, that's you.
Right.
Boom, I got you.
I did do that for the second rehearsal. I did go through the cast list of the chorus and say like, okay, and think about, okay, this is that person, and connect them in my mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I highly recommend it. You know, if you don't do it in your life, you can start now. You know, don't be like me, like I used to be, and make some excuse for not knowing people's names. Just change. Just decide. This is from this point forward. I'm going to start.
It was so funny because later in the production, we had a new stage manager come in, and we had other people who maybe didn't get the opportunity to meet them in the same way I did, and so they would be describing somebody. They'd be like, "Oh, well, this person who's tall, or this, or was doing this action," and I would say Jonathan, and they were all like laughing at me because I knew every person that they were talking about.
That's great. But when you're directing, especially, that's really nice.
It is.
Well, fantastic. Would you like to direct us out of this episode with a commercial for Audible?
audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends is where you can go to sign up for Audible Trial, and you can hear Frank and Friends show and any audiobook,
custom entertainment that they make, dozens and hundreds, thousands of podcasts. Everybody's got a podcast, obviously. So you can listen to those.
You get a free 30-day trial.
Yeah.
And during that time, you can download anything you want.
Yeah, you get an MP3 for one credit for a download, and then each month afterward you get another credit. So you'll continue to sign up, continue to listen to things, and even if you stop and go back to it later, it remembers where you left off. And that's the beauty of it, is with the monthly membership, really there's no pressure. During that first month, there's that intense pressure of picking the one perfect download.
Right.
Well, you should still have that pressure, but when you can stream anything and just not worry about it. And sample some book that maybe you're not sure you're going to like or not.
Right.
And then find out you love it. Great. But if you don't, pause and move on to another one.
Yeah, that's great.
I
love it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for your support of our show by going to audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends show. Also, by purchasing Frank and Friends show merch. And I wish I had had the beach towel within reach over there, but it's
fabulous. Go check it out on the website at frankandfriendshow.com/store.
They did a good job.
They did.
On those. I'm really happy with the way that came out, because the logo, the art logo with the Smoky Mountains in the background.
Yeah.
It's like springtime in the mountains.
It's really nice.
So it's perfect.
I have a question. Can we put the link to the store in the comment section?
It is in every episode.
Fantastic.
How did you know?
Well, all you have to do is scroll down and
actually,
click.
You know what? Can I do some behind-the-scenes business? I write a show description for every episode.
Yes.
And it has the links to Audible and to the website and Facebook and the store and all the things. I am willing to copy and paste that into an email if you can teach me how to use our website. There's a place where you can have a mailing list.
Yeah.
That way, I know I want you to go to YouTube and smash that button for notifications.
Yeah, smash it.
Thank you. I would be willing. You could sign up for an email, and I could just email you every time a new episode comes out. It's like 2 a week, maybe 3, if there's a Seymour Smokies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, we do have some Seymour Smokies episodes to crank out this week.
It's exciting.
So that's another reason why you got to be on our YouTubes.
Absolutely, find out all the episodes.
I didn't do any. I didn't cheat on you with the Seymour Smokies episodes. A few of the friends wanted to go on funny adventures, but I said,
they did want to go on funny adventures.
Let me check the calendar on that. Oh no, Frady will be back.
Sorry.
Well, it may work out. It may be one of these days when you're out of town and Becca or Sarah or Kira or somebody wants to go. So I might have to still do that, because you're going out of town again for more opera stuff.
I am.
Let's not think about that right now.
Yeah.
Madam Frady is
here,
gracing us with her presence for all of May and June. It is the Frank and Friends show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing and subscribing. We'll talk to you again next time.